The WNBA tried to capitalize on her popularity and crammed a lot of games in over a short amount of time, playing against the best teams in the WNBA.
What if the single most valuable player in professional basketball isn't making millions from a championship or an MVP award, but from a system that pays her less than 1% of what she's actually worth? We're talking about a generational talent who is shattering every viewership and revenue record in her sport, while her official paycheck from the league wouldn't cover the salary of a rookie bench warmer in the men's game. This isn't just about an athlete being underpaid. This is about a multi-billion-dollar industry being propped up by one woman's star power, while the very structure of the league fights to keep her compensation locked in the past. The numbers are so absurd, they force a single uncomfortable question. Is the WNBA exploiting its golden goose? Before we dive into the shocking details, if you're fascinated by the real stories behind the sports headlines, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to make sure you don't miss a single revelation. The $16 million illusion. Let's start with a headline that seems to shut down the entire conversation. In 2025, Caitlin Clark earned an estimated $16.1 million. On the surface, that sounds incredible, a testament to her marketability and success. But here's the reality bomb that changes everything. Of that mountain of cash, a staggering 99.3%, roughly $16 million, came from endorsements and sponsorships with brands like Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm. Her actual salary and bonuses for playing basketball for the Indiana Fever? Just $114,000. That means for every dollar Clark earned, less than a single penny came from the league whose popularity she is single-handedly spiking. This isn't a payday. It's a damning indictment. It proves that the free market, the brands, and the fans know her true worth. They are paying her like the global superstar she is. The WNBA, the institution that should be rewarding her for saving and transforming its business, is paying her like a mid-level office worker. Her base salary was just $78,066, which, even after bonuses for an all-star selection and a Commissioner's Cup win, barely crept over six figures. She's generating NFL-level income, but her basketball salary is a rounding error on her own tax return. This isn't wealth built on the court. It's wealth built in spite of it. And this pattern isn't new. It's an accelerating trend. In 2024, her first year, an estimated 99% of her $11.1 million income came from off-court deals. This financial reality places her among elite female athletes globally, like gymnast Simone Biles and skier Eileen Gu, whose incomes are also almost entirely sponsorship-driven. This highlights a systemic feature of women's sports. For the biggest stars, the institution they play for is often the smallest contributor to their wealth. The league's commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, has attempted to frame the conversation differently, suggesting that a player's total compensation includes various bonuses and agreements, and that Clark could theoretically make up to $500,000 from league-related wages. However, this argument rings hollow when the documented numbers are so stark. It also sidesteps the core issue. The base salary, the guaranteed money for being the best at her job, is an astronomically small fraction of the value she creates. When a bonus for winning a mid-season cup $30,000 is celebrated as being more lucrative than a prize for winning the entire WNBA championship, it exposes a reward structure that is fundamentally misaligned. The $16 million figure isn't just an illusion, it's a spotlight. It illuminates the breathtaking gap between an athlete's market value and the compensation system that is supposed to capture it. It shows us that the money is there, the demand is real, but the pipeline from corporate boardrooms to the player's pocket is wide open, while the pipeline from the league office is clogged and narrow. Now, let's measure Clark's impact where it truly counts. The bottom line. Her arrival in Indianapolis didn't just sell a few extra tickets, it fundamentally altered the financial destiny of an entire franchise. In the single year after she was drafted, the Indiana Fever's valuation exploded by 273%, making it the fastest growing team in the entire league. The franchise is now worth an estimated $335 million. To put that in perspective, the average WNBA team was worth about $96 million just 1 year prior. Clark didn't just add value, she nearly quadrupled it. The team's revenue jumped by almost 300% year over year to $34 million. But the proof isn't just in spreadsheets, it's in the stands and at the concession stands. The Fever averaged over 17,000 fans per home game, an attendance figure that outperformed 6 different NBA teams and 3 MLB teams. On game days, The amount of merchandise sold per person in that arena was higher than for any NBA team. StubHub reported that the Fever's ticket sales were 90 times higher in Clark's rookie season than the year before. And for the upcoming season, the 10 most in-demand games on the entire platform are all Indiana Fever matchups. Cities are having to move games to massive NBA arenas like Boston's TD Garden just to meet the demand she creates. She's not a player, she's an economic event. This phenomenon began even before she was drafted, with the Las Vegas Aces announcing a venue change to a larger arena for a future game against the Fever in anticipation of her drawing power. Her influence is so profound that it has created a Clark effect that resets the financial baseline for the entire league. The new Golden State Valkyries, an expansion team, sold over 10,000 season tickets before playing a single game, a feat directly attributable to the surge of interest Clark has generated. The average WNBA team's value skyrocketed 180% in a single year, a rising tide lifted almost exclusively by her arrival. Yet, this metamorphosis creates a dangerous paradox. The franchise's value is built on an asset, Caitlin Clark, that is compensated as a minimal expense. She is the engine of a $335 million enterprise, while being paid a salary that is a tiny fraction of that valuation's annual increase. This disconnect makes the franchise's incredible financial success a repeated, monthly argument for why the player at its center is grotesquely underpaid. Every sold-out arena, every spiking merchandise report, and every new corporate partnership for Fever is another data point proving that the old economic model is broken. The league is experiencing a gold rush, and Caitlin Clark is the one who discovered the mine. But the rules of the claim still force the prospector to work for wages, while others count the nuggets. So how can a player be this valuable, yet this poorly compensated by her own employer? The answer lies in a financial model that is, by design, stacked against the athletes. Unlike the NBA, where players famously split basketball-related income 50-50 with team owners, WNBA players receive only about 10% of their team's revenue. The entire system operates on a scale that is microscopic compared to men's professional sports. The league salary cap, the total amount a team can spend on its entire roster, is around $1.45 million. For comparison, the minimum salary for a rookie with 1 year of experience in the NBA is over $1.8 million. One NBA bench player can make more than the combined salaries of every single player on a WNBA team. The Fever's entire 2025 payroll was about $1.39 million. This means the most valuable franchise asset, Caitlin Clark, is counted as a $78,066 expense on a $1.4 million budget, while she drives tens of millions in revenue. The math isn't just unfair, it's illogical. It treats superstar talent as an interchangeable, low-cost commodity, even when that talent is demonstrably creating all the growth. The league itself is not yet profitable, losing an estimated $40 to $50 million annually, a loss subsidized by the NBA. But this fact is often used to deflect criticism, ignoring the crucial context. The explosion in value and revenue Clark has created is happening within this outdated, restrictive system. She's proving the potential profitability, but the pay structure hasn't caught up to the new reality she built. The scale of the disparity is almost incomprehensible. The Atlanta Hawks 2024 NBA draft pick, Zachary Rizicher, signed a 4-year, $57 million contract. Clark's entire 4-year rookie deal is worth $338,056. That's a 168-to-1 ratio. The league's revenue explains part, but not all, of this chasm. The NBA's average team revenue is over $400 million, while the WNBA's was roughly $18 million in 2024. However, even the WNBA's new massive $2.2 billion media rights deal will generate less than 4% of the annual TV revenue the NBA earns. The system is built on a revenue base that is only now beginning to grow exponentially, but the players share that revenue, capped at around 10%, is locked in by a collective bargaining agreement, CBA, negotiated before this growth was conceivable. The Players Union has already opted out of the CBA, with President Nneka Agwumike stating the fight is about claiming our rightful share of the business we built. The broken math is now the central battleground. The league points to overall losses, while the players point to the fact that they only see a dime of every dollar they help generate. When a player can generate hundreds of millions in franchise valuation, but isn't allowed to be paid more than a sliver of the team's total payroll, the formula isn't just broken, it's begging for a revolution. The injustice of the pay structure becomes even starker when you look at what Clark actually did on the court. Her 2024 rookie season wasn't just good, it was historically unprecedented. She didn't just win Rookie of the Year, she redefined what a rookie season could be. She set the all-time rookie records for both points and assists in a single season. She became the first rookie in WNBA history to record 2 triple-doubles. She dished out 19 assists in a single game, setting a new league record. She led the entire league in total assists. She was named to the All-WNBA First Team, a feat no first-year player had accomplished since Candace Parker in 2008. The fan vote for the All-Star Game was a landslide, making it clear who the people were tuning in to see. This was a portfolio of greatness from day one. She wasn't just competing for a Rookie of the Year. Analysts began debating whether it was the greatest rookie season of all time, period. Yet, for this epical performance, her rookie salary was $76,535. Paige Buchers, the number 1 pick the following year, earned a similar $78,831. The league's fixed rookie scale ensures that even a transformative, record-shattering talent enters at predetermined low wage. The system is built to suppress individual earning power, regardless of individual impact. It assumes all rookies are financial risk, even when one is a guaranteed revenue tsunami. The league's bonus system offers a scant consolation prize. For her historic All-WNBA First Team selection, Clark received a $10,300 bonus. For winning Rookie of the Year, she got $5,150. These amounts are almost insulting when placed against her off-court earnings and the revenue she drove. They highlight a compensation philosophy that treats monumental, legacy-defining achievements as minor footnotes in a pay stub. Furthermore, the CBA's most lucrative marketing program, the Player Marketing Agreement PMA, which can pay up to $250,000, historically excludes rookies in their first season. This means the league's mechanism for rewarding marketable stars was designed in a way that locked out its most marketable rookie ever in her most impactful year. Even in a season hampered by injury in 2025, where she played only 13 games, her on-court achievements, like an All-Star selection and a Commissioner's Cup win, still earn her bonuses that were dwarfed by her endorsement income. The message is clear. What she does on the court opens a door to fame, but the real financial rewards for that excellence are found almost entirely outside the arena. The rookie scale didn't just fail to capture her value. It became the most glaring symbol of why the entire wage structure needs to be torched and rebuilt. The promise of change always points to the league's new media rights deals. In 2024, the WNBA announced a monumental set of agreements with Disney, NBC Universal, and Amazon worth $2.2 billion. This was hailed as a tide that would lift all boats, finally funneling serious money into player salaries. But the path of that money is where things get murky and controversial. A significant portion of the games, including future final series, will air on the USA Network, a cable channel. And cable is a ship that's actively sinking. Since 2010, USA's reach has plummeted from over 100 million households to about 66 million. The new parent company, Versant, has seen its revenue and operating income decline for years. By locking key games into a shrinking cable bundle, the league may have traded short-term cash for long-term visibility. It's a paradox, a historic deal that could ironically limit the audience growth that players like Clark fuel. This tension boiled over when Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier launched a fiery public critique of the league's leadership, with many interpreting her frustration as being linked to how this new TV money is being managed and distributed. The deal proves the WNBA's value is rising, but the architecture of the deal raises questions about whether that value will be maximized for the players who created it. Furthermore, this $2.2 billion deal, while transformative, still pales in comparison to men's sports. It will push the WNBA's annual TV revenue to an estimated $260 million, which is still less than 4% of the annual value of the NBA's media contracts. So, while it's a massive step forward, it's a step onto a playing field that remains radically uneven. The deal also creates the immediate pressure point for the ongoing CBA negotiations. The players see this massive influx of guaranteed league revenue and are demanding their share be multiplied. Currently, only about 9.3% of league revenue goes to player salaries. The union's opt-out after the 2024 season was a direct shot across the bow, signaling they will not accept the status quo when the league's financial picture is changing so dramatically. The TV deal is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but the players are now in a high-stakes standoff over who gets to carry it and how much they get to keep. If the league fails to share this new wealth equitably, it risks a lockout that could stall the incredible momentum Clark has generated. The $2.2 billion is both the solution and the source of the next major conflict. Clark's economic impact is undeniable, creating a rising tide that has lifted franchise values across the board. The average WNBA teams were skyrocketed 180% in a single year. The new Golden State Valkyries expansion team, benefiting from this surging interest, sold over 10,000 season tickets before playing a single game and is already valued at a league-high $500 million. This is a rising tide in action. Yet, within the league, this hasn't always been met with universal gratitude. Clark has faced notoriously physical, often questionable defense since her first game. Incidents like being bumped during dead balls or seeing opponents adjust strategies specifically to stop her personal milestones have been framed by some as a form of hazing or resentment. The irony is palpable. The very players whose future salary increases in charter flights, a long-sought perk finally implemented, are directly tied to the revenue Clark generates, can sometimes seem focused on testing her rather than celebrating her. She used her platform before her rookie season, even began to highlight the indignity of veterans flying commercial, a move credited with accelerating the league's move to charter travel. She advocates for the collective, yet has to navigate a landscape where her individual success is sometimes viewed as a threat. It's a complex dynamic where the person writing the check for everyone's future is treated as the new kid who hasn't paid her dues. This undercurrent may also stem from the stark, visible contrast in their financial realities. While Clark has the security to turn down million-dollar offers from other leagues like the Big Three and Unrivaled, many of her veteran peers have spent years grinding overseas and off-season to make ends meet. The WNBA's own time-off bonus, meant to discourage overseas play, maxes out at $50,000, a fraction of what Clark makes in a month from endorsements. This economic gulf, created by the league's own low pay scale, can foster understandable tension. Furthermore, the league's promotional machinery, desperate to capitalize on her fame, can create a perception of favoritism that rankles other stars who have been legends in the league for years. However, this resentment is ultimately misdirected. The target should not be Clark, but the system that created the pay disparity in the first place. As Stephen A. Smith famously said, a rising tide lifts all boats. The players fighting Clark on the court are, in a very real sense, fighting against the very force that is most likely to secure the higher salaries and better conditions they deserve. The true battle isn't between players. It's between the players as a collective and a financial model that has undervalued them for decades. Clark isn't the problem. She's a living, breathing, record-breaking proof that the solution is possible. This brings us back to the core disconnect. Caitlin Clark's financial life exists in two parallel universes. In one, she is a cornerstone of Nike's basketball future, getting her own signature logo, apparel, and sneakers set to debut in 2026, and building a sponsorship empire worth 8 figures annually. In the other, she is a cost-controlled employee on a 4-year, $338,056 rookie contract. The brands aren't confused. They see a charismatic, record-breaking icon who moves merchandise and captures a cultural moment. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement, negotiated in 2020 and running through 2027, sees a rookie-scale salary. Her situation screams the truth. Her value is not determined by the WNBA's current economics, but by the mainstream market she has accessed. She is essentially working a day job for Fever, while running a multi-million-dollar business on the side. And that side business is entirely built on the fame she gets from the day job. It's an unsustainable illusion. It proves that the market for women's basketball stars is vibrant and lucrative, but the league's internal mechanisms are not designed to capture and redistribute that value to the stars who create it. She is, in effect, doing free marketing for the league on a galactic scale, and her playing contract is a paltry fee. This empowerment through endorsements has given her something rare: leverage and choice. She has repeatedly turned down lucrative offers from other basketball ventures, including a $5 million offer from the Big Three and a $1 million-plus equity package from Unrivaled. She doesn't have a financial need to play year-round or in other leagues. This freedom is a luxury virtually unknown to previous generations of WNBA players. It also exposes the league's vulnerability. If the WNBA cannot financially reward its transcendent talents, what stops a well-funded rival league from swooping in? The endorsement empire shields Clark, but also highlights the payroll prison that confines the league's relationship with its players. For the WNBA's business model to be credible, the payroll must reflect a meaningful share of the value the players create. Right now, for Caitlin Clark, it's not even a rounding error. This duality is the ultimate critique of the system. When an athlete's employer is their least significant financial patron, it signals a catastrophic failure of that employer's compensation model. The brands pay for her present worth. The WNBA, thus far, has only paid for her rookie scale slot. So what happens next? The story of Caitlin Clark's salary is the story of the WNBA's defining crossroads. She has done the impossible. She brought mainstream attention, corporate dollars, and record valuations. She has exposed a grotesque gap between what the players are worth and what they are paid. The 2020 CBA is a relic from a pre-Clark era. When it expires in 2027, the negotiations will be the most consequential in sports history. The players will have a simple, powerful argument. Look at the $3.5 billion in franchise value. Look at the $2.2 billion in TV money. Look at the sold-out arenas and the merchandise flying off the shelves. Now look at the salaries. The data that Caitlin Clark has created, the valuation spikes, the ratings records, the revenue surges, is the ammunition for the battle to come. She may never be the WNBA's highest paid player on her team sheet, but her legacy won't be a championship ring or an MVP trophy. It will be the new financial reality she forced into existence. The lie has been exposed. The numbers don't just speak, they shout. The only question left is whether the league is listening. The Players Union has already fired the first shot by opting out of current CBA. The league has floated the possibility of seven-figure salaries in a new deal, but such a leap will require a radical rethinking of revenue sharing. The fight will be about moving from a model where players get 10% of revenue to one that approaches the 50-50 partnership standard in other major leagues. Clark's unique position makes her a fascinating figure in this fight. Personally, she is financially insulated from the outcome, yet she is a catalyst for it. Her very presence has made the union's argument unassailable. The Clark effect isn't just an economic term, it's the ultimate bargaining chip. The reckoning is no longer a matter of if, but when and how. Will the league share the wealth from its historic TV deal and soaring valuations, or will it cling to an outdated model and risk a labor war that could derail this golden era? Caitlin Clark changed the game on the court. Now, she's poised to change the game in the boardroom. And that change will define the WNBA for the next generation. If this deep dive into the real game being played behind the scenes surprised you, let me know in the comment below. And for more content that pulls back the curtain on the biggest stories in sports, don't forget to subscribe.